But it's not hydrogen in the air. It's not oxygen in the air. But when you bring these elements together, therefore you have made water. And when you freeze that water, you have made ice. And when you evaporate that water, you have made a gas, where it's going back into its natural form of hydrogen and oxygen. Read on, brother.
And darkness was upon the face of the deep.
What was it speaking about when it said the deep? The deep was space. There was not one star. There was no sun. It was just blackness, darkness, deep darkness. Go ahead.
And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters.
Now you can use the word powers, because we done broke that down. And the spirit of the powers of the angels moved upon the what? The face of the waters. What does it mean by waters? The Hebrew word Shemayim is what? It means pertaining to the waters. The waters is talking about the atmosphere, the space. What's in the air? The waters, the moisture. Or you would be dehydrated. Read on.
And the powers said, let there be light. And there was light.
So what happened? The angels or the powers initiated a certain amount of elements to illuminate. Now, when the so-called white man and his science, when they look under a microscope and they look at the elements of these germs and these different elements, there's an aura around these elements. Some elements have a brighter aura than others. And that's what they did. They took the elements or the atoms and illuminated the aura around these elements. So that's what they did. They took a certain amount of elements and they illuminated it. Read on.
And the powers saw the light, that it was good.
And the powers saw the light, that it was good. Now, I'm going to illustrate that on the board so you can get the understanding. Let me illustrate that on the board here. As I said, you're not going to learn this going to Reverend Porkchop, because Reverend Porkchop doesn't know his stuff. To give you an illustration right here, this is deep space. They took a certain amount of elements and illuminated these elements. Because where do you get the light from in the daytime? A lot of you say, and scientists years ago said, oh, you get it from the sun. That's a damn lie. You don't get it from the sun. And they proved that when they send up the manned Apollo space flights up into space. And when you look down on the earth, you see the aura of the earth. One side of the earth is a dimmer light, and the other side of the earth is a brighter light. Therefore, you get day and night. Because the sun wasn't even created. So this light right here was like a big cloud of light, illuminated elements in the air, in space. Read on.
And the powers divided the light from the darkness.
And the powers divided the light from the darkness. In other words, this is the darkness, right? This is the light. Now, there was one part where it was dimmer, a dimmer form of light and a brighter form of light. And the earth was going to be created right in the middle of that. That's why on one side of the world, it's dark. On this side of the world, it's daytime. When it's nighttime on this side of the world, it's nighttime on this side of the world, it's darkness on the other side of the world. Yes, you got a question, brother?
Oh, yeah. So you're saying that the elements lit up? So you're saying that the elements had lit up?
Mm-hmm. And let me say this. The elements, the angels initiated the elements to illuminate. Just like if you look in high school science, you look in a telescope, you can see the illumination of the light around these elements. So they illuminated these elements that was in space. You understand?
Okay.
Okay. Read on.
And the powers called the light day, and the darkness be called night.
Right, the lesser part of the elements. The angels and the powers call this part day. The other part he called night. Go ahead.
And the evening and the morning were the first day.
So in one day, they created what? The light. Now outside of this was deep dark space, blackness. In this circle of light, there was a dimmer form of light and a brighter form of light. Just like your lamps at home. You can turn the lamp on and make it super bright and hit the switch again, and you have a dimmer form of light. Now, it said in the evening and the morning was the what? The first day. Now, what kind of day was this? Was this a 24-hour day? Was it a 2-minute day? Was it a year? But it's one day? What is a day to the Lord? Let's go to the book of 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, and the 8th verse, and we can prove this. Matter of fact, let's start from the first verse to show you that Peter was alluding and speaking in behalf of the book of Genesis, beginning. Genesis, the second Peter's, the 3rd chapter, and let's start from the first verse.
This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance,
Go ahead.
that ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets,
Go ahead.
and of the commandment of us, the apostles of the Lord and Savior, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers.
Now, where are these scoffers? A lot of people say they don't believe in the Bible. A lot of people say they don't believe in God. They don't believe in the Most High. You have a lot of religions that are scoffers, that say, well, we have the right religion, or we have the right way. We're following the Most High. The only way you can follow the Most High, number one, you have to be an Israelite, first of all. You have to be of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, and you have to acknowledge this whole Bible. You have to go by this whole Bible. The whole Bible says this, the salvation is coming to the nation of Israel. So all these churches, they're not teaching the truth. That's why they can't break down Genesis. That's why you can't break down Revelations and none of these books. That's why you're confused. Read on.
Walking after their own lusts, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation.
Right, that's what they're saying. Oh, everything is what you guys talking about, the end of the world. I don't see no end of the world. Scoffers. Go ahead.
For this they willingly are ignorant of that by the word of the power.
Right, that's why these people, the majority of the people in the world, they're willingly ignorant, man. Willingly ignorant. They want to be ignorant to this truth. That's why a lot of people, the majority of people on this earth are going to die. And America is going to be destroyed, and part of this world, as we know it, is going to be destroyed. A new kingdom is going to be set up. Because you have ignored this Bible. And this Bible is going to condemn you. This is the word of the Most High. Read on.
The heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby...
Now, what is he saying? He's reiterating what was said and read in the book of Genesis, the 1st chapter. Read on.
Whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire.
Right. He was referring to the creation of the world and how the people did not want to listen to Noah, and the Most High destroyed the people of that world, of the ancient world, by what? That great flood. So it said this same world that we're living on now is reserved for fire. This world is going to go out by fire. And everybody that's left on this world that have not come back to the words and statutes of the Most High is going to be destroyed.